Hi, I'm Lynette and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be reviewing the new L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. If you like reviews, please go ahead and like this video and consider subscribing because I do makeup reviews, haul swatches, and tutorials here on my channel every Saturday. Okay, so today I am going to be reviewing a new foundation from L'Oreal, and it is the Infallible Up to 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. Now, it's not really a new foundation. It's new to us here in the United States. This foundation, I believe, has been available in Europe for quite some time, and they are now just releasing it here. And I don't know why, but drugstore brands also will release other products in Europe and other countries and not in the United States. I don't know why. So I'm going to be reviewing it for you today. I'm going to talk about the price, the packaging. I'm going to show you a demo of me applying the foundation, and then I'm going to tell you my experience with this foundation and whether or not I would recommend it. So some things you should know before we get started is that I have oily skin and I wear foundations Monday through Friday, typically when I go to work. So that means I will be wearing the foundation for typically 10 to 12 hours a day. Now I'm going to read to you the claims from the L'Oreal website about this foundation, what it does, and all of that good stuff. According to L'Oreal, it's their most lightweight, breathable long-wear foundation. Introducing our breakthrough long-wear foundation with breathable skin technology. Up to 24-hour fresh wear foundation provides medium to full buildable coverage that lasts all day and allows the skin to breathe. The formula's 3 oil absorbers resist sweat, water, and transfer. The ultra-thin liquid goes on smoothly to give a fresh, healthy-looking complexion that lasts. Color stays true and blends in evenly so your makeup looks fresh all day. Non-comedogenic and formulated with SPF, this foundation is suitable for all skin types in 30 shades for every skin tone. All right, let's talk about packaging. The foundation comes in a glass bottle and it has a pump, which is really nice. Now, and a pump is my preferred way of dispensing liquid foundation. So I'm happy to see that it has a pump. I'm happy to see that more drugstore brands are including pumps on their foundation bottles. Now, my pump, however, faces the back of the bottle. And I've seen other people have done videos and their pump faces the side and not the front. So if you have any OCD tendencies, you might be really annoyed and bothered by that. It doesn't bother me, but L'Oreal should really take more care in the assembly of the bottle so that the pump will face forward. And you do get 1 full fluid ounce, which is nice. Now, depending on where you purchase it, it retails for $14.99 at Ulta and at Walgreens, but Target sells it for $11.99, and I got it off of Amazon for $11.99 as well. I'm not sure the price at Walmart. I'm assuming it's sold at Walmart, and I got it in the shade number 515 Copper. Now, this foundation comes in 30 shades, which I think is very impressive for a drugstore brand, for any brand, but certainly for a drugstore brand. It's nice to see that L'Oreal is expanding their shade range to include more people. Looking at the shades on the website, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shades for people my skin tone or darker, and maybe even more than that, maybe 9, 10 tops. And I can see that from my shade going forward, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 shades deeper than this shade. So I think that's pretty good. I'm not going to fault them about that. I got it in the shade 515. 510 looked like it was just a wee bit too light for me. Like I probably could make it work, but it looked like it might be a little wee bit ashy on me. So I decided to go ahead and get it in 515 in copper, and this shade is a little too dark for me. It's a little on the orange side, I think, and it's a little too dark for me. It's actually the foundation I am wearing today, and you know, it's a little darker. It doesn't exactly, you can see, I think, even with the lights, that my face is a little darker than my neck and certainly my chest, but I think I'm able to make it work and to pass with it because I put on my concealer, a lighter concealer, and a lighter face powder, and I wore turtlenecks to work, so people couldn't really see that it doesn't match. It's not a great match for me, but it works. Okay, so in terms of the claims that L'Oreal makes about this foundation, L'Oreal says it's ultra thin liquid, and it really is. It's runny, very thin and quite runny, but it blends beautifully. They say it blends evenly, and I would agree with that. It blends in very nicely, and I guess you have some time to work with it. It is a matte finish, but not a matte finish to where my skin looks really dull. Actually, it doesn't look dull at all. It's sort of like a satin matte finish. I do like the finish on it. They say it's a medium to full buildable coverage, and I would agree with that. For someone who doesn't have as many issues as I do in terms of hyperpigmentation and blemishes, one layer might be enough for you, might be enough coverage for you, but I like to go in with 2 layers, and even after putting on 2 layers, I can still see some of my darkness and some blemishes, so I go on top of it with a concealer. I mean, I'm okay with foundation looking like skin. I just don't want it to look like my skin. I want to cover up my skin. So I use 2 layers of the foundation. Because it is so liquidy though, and it needs to be built up to full coverage, I do find myself using 2.5 to 4 pumps per application. So as you can imagine, you can't see it. I'm sure you can. I can't really see it, but when I'm in my bathroom under different lighting, I can see that I've used this much of this foundation already, and I've worn it for only 4 days. So I can imagine that I'm going to, if I were to wear this every single day, that I would go through this fairly quickly. So it's good that it's more on the affordable side, because I might have to buy a bottle more frequently. But I do like the finish, and I do like the coverage. L'Oreal says the color stays true, and I would agree with that as well. It is a little too dark for me, but I did not notice it oxidizing or getting any darker in color as the day wore on. So that was nice. They say it looks fresh all day. I mean, it's foundation. You can only wear it but for so long before it doesn't look fresh anymore. But I'm happy to report that it is a long wearing foundation, and it does look good for most of the day. I did have a colleague yesterday tell me, ask me, what foundation are you wearing? Because your skin looks beautiful. And it was this foundation, so it was nice that she noticed. It is long wearing. As I say, I typically will wear foundation 10 to 12 hours, give or take a few hours, usually give a few hours. I still have to blot, which is typical for me. Every foundation I wear, and I wear matte foundations, I have to blot. And even though it's really cold here in New York now, we've had some 17, 19 degree days, I still find that I have to wear a mattifying primer in my T-zone. I've been using the Sephora mattifying primer in my T-zone because I still get oily despite the fact that it's really cold outside. And at work, it's really cold in my office, so I have a heater that I crank up. So I did notice the first time that I wore this foundation without the mattifying primer that I would tend to get a little oily, like a little shiny around the nose here. But with the mattifying primer, it really holds up very, very well. At the end of the day, when I come home, my foundation still looks very, very good. Like I said, I will blot once or twice a day, but that is not unusual for me. I wore this foundation for 17 hours yesterday, and so L'Oreal's claim that it will hold up for 24 hours. I don't believe, because it didn't hold up for me for 17. But I was surprised. I mean, after 17 hours, I still had some foundation on my face. Most of it was still there. It had pretty much worn away on my chin, and it had started to break up, like, you know, it looked kind of funky around my nose here and my upper lip, and it looked like some was missing around my forehead. But for the most part, the majority of it was still intact, but I do not believe it would hold up for 24 hours, though I won't ever be trying that. So would I recommend this foundation? I would. I actually think it could work for all skin types. If you have dry skin, of course, I would recommend that you hydrate your skin before applying this foundation. Because it's not super matte, it's not a flat super matte, I really think with proper hydration and moisturizing, I think dry skin might be okay with this foundation. I think normal skin would do just fine with it, and oily skin, my oily skin, really it held up really well on my oily skin. I like the finish. I like that it can be built up to full coverage. I like that it's long wearing, and so yes, I would recommend this foundation. And even though it's a little too dark for me, I could see myself wear it. It won't be my everyday wear for work, simply because the shade is not the right match for me. You know, I might consider buying the shade 510 and mixing it. You know, I don't love having some mixed foundations, but if I can get it for $12, even if I have to buy two to mix it to get a better match, I'm still only spending $24 to $25, which is still pretty affordable for a foundation. So that is my review of the L'Oreal Infallible Up to 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. If you found this review to be of any use or helpful to you at all, then please go ahead and like this video and consider subscribing, because I do makeup reviews along with hauls, swatches, and tutorials here on my channel every Saturday. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye-bye.